Hello and welcome to Uncharted Science. I'm Sam and today we're going to be delving into the land of dreams. So, without further ado, let's get on to the top 10 tips for a good night's sleep. This first one is especially close to my heart, not least because I'm lethally allergic to them. In a 2013 study at the University of Taipei, they tested the effect of kiwi as a sleep aid. The group of people that were given 2 kiwis prior to bed found that they got about 15% more sleep than the control group. And not only this, they fell asleep anywhere up to 40% faster than the control. The superfood kiwi used in this test not only is high in antioxidants, but it also contains a lot of the sleep hormone serotonin. But if, like myself, you're allergic to kiwi, there are plenty of other superfoods that have got your back. Foods such as bananas, walnuts, cherries, and even lettuce that are especially high in potassium and magnesium are the ones that are going to help us sleep the best. Sticking with diet and coming in at number 2, you may have heard the old wives' tale that cheese gives us nightmares. Well, maybe it doesn't. Now, we've got to be a bit skeptical about this one, as the study was funded by the Cheese Society of Britain, but they found out that cheese actually promotes healthy sleep and gives us better dreams. This is thought to be because the cheese protein is very high in an amino acid called tryptophan, and this tryptophan is integral to the biochemical pathways that make melatonin, another sleep hormone. Number 3 is one that, from my complexion, you can probably tell I don't do very often, and that's getting out in the sun and catching some rays. Now, this is because the light that's emitted by the sun helps tell your body what time of day it is, so it knows when to get tired, and it does this by resetting your internal body clock. Now, the flip side of this comes in at number 4, and that's that we don't want to be exposing ourselves to too much light too close to bed. Now, what I'm referring to here is utilizing our smart devices, our phones, our tablets and our laptops too close to bed. But don't worry too much, as many developers, including Apple, have been introducing nighttime viewing modes, and these can often be found in your settings. And what these nighttime viewing modes actually do is they reduce the amount of blue light that's being emitted by each and every pixel on your screen, as can be seen right here. But if you're unfortunate enough to have a device that doesn't have a built-in nighttime viewing mode, you can download a number of software packages online which will do exactly the same thing. My weapon of choice is Flux, and I've got it installed on my Mac, and I will put a link in the diddly bob down below to that. And number 5 is one that most of you probably already know, and that's that we shouldn't be consuming caffeine too close to bed. But what most of you don't know is that caffeine isn't only found in coffee and tea. It's also a component in chocolate. Now, what caffeine does is it binds to adenosine receptors in your brain, and adenosine is another one of these sleep hormones. More specifically, it's one that builds up during the day and tells your body when it's time to go to bed. Now, many of us sleep in pajamas or even naked, but what comes in at number 6 might be a surprise to you. The thing that actually matters when you sleep is the temperature of your extremities, and by these I mean your fingers and your toes. And what's the best way to keep your toes warm? To pull on a nice fresh pair of cotton socks, of course. Now, what this does is it's going to increase your circulation and so allow those sleep hormones in your blood to reach your brain far more effectively. Now you are tucked up in bed. You've got your nice warm socks on, you've eaten 2 kiwis, or in my case, a banana and a handful of walnuts. But what can I do when I'm actually in bed to help me get to sleep? And that's exactly where the next 4 tips are going to come in. Now your toes are nice and warm, what better a thing to do than some progressive muscle relaxation? But don't worry, the first time I heard those 3 words, I had even less of a clue than you do. Progressive muscle relaxation is a form of meditation that came about in the 1930s, and it involves sequentially tensing and relaxing your muscles. And one way that it's going to benefit you is by releasing serotonin, which is naturally released when we exercise. And that's the sleep hormone that we were talking about being present in kiwis earlier in this video. The final thing that you can do before you actually turn out the lights can come in many different forms, and this is tip number 8. Often when we go to sleep, we are plagued with restlessness, and this can come due to 2 things. Either there may be things that have happened throughout the day that we haven't been able to process fully, or there might be things coming up the next day that we are incredibly stressed and anxious about. There are many ways to deal with this. One of the things I like to do is go through my day and recollect all of the experiences that I've undergone. If you're stressing about something that's coming up in the future, you might want to write out a to-do list before you go to bed so that you've got everything that's going around in your mind on paper. Now, you turn out your lights, and there's one last thing that you can do to make sure that you get a fantastic night's sleep. Many people like to sleep with ambient noises such as rain or that of the jungle in the background, and there is actually a good reason for this. We call these noises white noise, and they're going to allow you to sleep because they are very constant at lots of different frequencies, and so fantastic for drowning out any other noise that might be naturally in the background in your bedroom. You've fallen asleep and you're feeling fantastic, but you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning. What are you going to do? Well, tip number 10 is the solution to this. If you wake up feeling incredibly restless, lying in bed, tossing and turning, telling yourself that you need to get back to sleep isn't actually going to help. If anything, it's actually going to make the situation a lot worse. The best thing to actually do in this situation is to leave your bedroom and find something else that's calming to occupy yourself with. For example, reading or playing a board game. The reason we leave the bedroom is because we have to associate our bedrooms with a place that is only for sleeping. By occupying ourselves with something else that is calming, it's going to allow our bodies to get ready for bed all over again. And when we're calm, when we're well rested, we can go back to the bedroom and we will sleep soundly. Thank you very much for joining us on our very first Uncharted Science journey. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like it. If you try any of these tips and they work for you, don't forget to comment and share this with your friends. And if you want more interesting scientific life hacks, don't forget to join us next time and subscribe to this channel. Cheers everyone. See you on the outside.